I wanted today to talk about DACA, the program that allowed people who came to this country as young children uh, illegally, through no fault of their own. The program that Obama established to enable them to stay in this country and work legally, even though they still can't become citizens. And yesterday, the president canceled that program and turned it over to Congress to figure out. Although Congress hasn't been able for 16 years, apparently, to figure this out and hasn't been able to come up with a good immigration program. When I look at the situation of these people, they're called dreamers, the ones who came as children. Um, it makes me remember when I was a kid in school, that naivete that you have as a young child, and reading about, the quotation on the Statue of Liberty about, give me you're tired and you're poor, and everybody who has difficulties with where they're living, or people who just want a better way of life and are willing to come and put their energy towards that. And I remember as a kid thinking, that's how my grandparents came to this country. They were poor, they were tired, they were, you know, uh, experiencing a lot of persecution, and I felt, this is such a beautiful thing about our country that nobody else, no other country seemed to have, because we were new and fresh, and even though we didn't, at that time when I was a kid, nobody was acknowledging what we did to the Native Americans. Now at least they are. Um, but it was so inspiring to hear about that. And one of the things that I like most when I come back into the U.S. after my foreign travels is when I'm standing in the line for citizens and green card holders to look around, and I see so many different kinds of people, of different colors and different dress and different languages. And this is one of the things I love the most about this country, is that it's so has so many different kinds of people. So when I hear about the DACA thing, the Dreamers, that program is canceled, and that in 6 months ICE will begin to deport these people unless Congress comes up with something. To me, this is not a political issue. This is a moral issue that has to do with being compassionate. Yeah, that, when people come here as children and they are essentially American, they grow up as American. And one of your classmates at Princeton, tell me his name and the name of his book again. I read it, but I'm not so good at remembering names and titles.
Danelle Padilla Peralta, and he wrote the book Undocumented.
Yeah, and I really recommend that book, Undocumented. And he has a quote from Jeff Sessions when Sessions was a senator at the beginning of it, and Sessions said something to the effect of, I can't remember it exactly, that people from the Dominican Republic, which is where your classmate was from, will never amount to anything and cannot contribute anything to the country. Well, he grew up in homeless shelters in New York and in the projects in New York. And he went to Princeton. He was able to do some postdoc work, I think, in UK. He is now a PhD professor at Princeton. Totally contradicted what Jeff Sessions said. And, so these people come here, they appreciate the country, they contribute to the country. Yeah. And even if we're going to talk in a selfish way, The dreamers pay taxes. They do not take jobs away from Americans. Yeah. And many of the people who are undocumented, even those who aren't dreamers, are the ones who do jobs that are really essential for the American economy, such as picking our produce and packing our produce. And now, after Hurricane Harvey and soon to land Hurricane Irma, which is going to produce a lot of destruction, a lot of these people are the people who are going to help, who have the skills and the ability and the willingness to help rebuild what the hurricanes are damaging. And even in Houston, before the hurricane, construction companies were saying they don't have enough workers. So afterwards, people are really going to need workers. In addition, many of these dreamers, they don't just hold the low skilled jobs. They went to college, many of them got PhDs. They're doing, high skilled jobs and really contributing to the country. And so I think whether you look at it from a compassionate viewpoint of not dividing families and really welcoming people and giving them the opportunity, or whether you look at it from a self-centered viewpoint according to what benefits this country, either way you look at it, we want these people here and they deserve to be here. So I really would like to request the people hearing this contact your representatives in the Senate, in the House. I had to do some work on the internet to find out how I could email Paul Ryan because I'm not one of his constituents, but there is a site where you can email the speaker, okay, because he does speak for all of us, supposedly. And, so to really make this known and speak up about this situation, personally, I can't imagine the kind of anxiety that some of the dreamers are feeling right now of, I've grown up in this country. This is my country. They have no connection or very little connection with where they came from, may not even speak the language of that country. And now, all of a sudden, in 6 months, their whole life may be uprooted, their family's broken. I mean, where is our compassion? So, we have to, I think, really speak up about this kind of thing. Yeah? Attend rallies, write letters, and so forth.